Okay, you guys, so we are now at the part of our training where we are talking to you guys about presenting the business opportunity, which sometimes can feel a little bit scary for brand new coaches. So before we get into that, we thought it was important for you all to hear about what each of us were doing before we started coaching, and more importantly, how many times we were asked to be a coach. So I'll start off with myself. I had just had my fourth baby in 5.5 years. And I had 2 high school girlfriends that were doing this, that constantly were saying, you should do this, you should do this, you should do this. And to make a very long story short, I basically tried to get fit on my own after the baby. I ended up doing T25 in Shakeology, but I had absolutely no interest in coaching whatsoever. My friends had asked me to do it. One of my 2 friends was really working the business, and I say that she probably asked me about 8 times after I gave her a couple of referrals before I decided that I would try coaching out for myself. So I was that very busy mom. I taught myself how to coach watching YouTube videos while I nursed the 4th baby in a rocking chair. There were no trainings like this. My coach's coach didn't really know a whole lot about coaching, but really it just started with a lot of conversations face-to-face with other people in my community to learn more about what I was doing. But it took about 8 times of my friend Kelly asking me to be a coach before I even considered it.
So it took me about 5. I probably would say it was 5 or more. And I was a stay-at-home mom at the time. I have 3 children. I have boxers, dogs that I literally, when the kids got on the bus, I would take them for miles and miles. I did rescue work with the Adopt a Boxer Rescue. I also did environmental work with the school. I was really, really heavy into volunteering. So when I was asked, I was like, no, I'm not planning on going back to work now. That was not in my plan. No. And then it just came about that it was like, you know what? Actually, I'm really enjoying these challenge groups. I'm really enjoying the conversations I'm having with these women, and I'm really loving this. As a challenger, might as well try. And I was using the product, and then I kind of felt selfish that I wasn't going to give back, like help my husband. Why should it be all on him? Let's see if I can make something of this. That's how it started.
I was probably similar to Juliet. I think like in the 5 or 6 time frame. It didn't feel like that. Now that I'm thinking about it, I didn't feel like I was asked all the time, but I'm certainly happy that I was, because I was working full-time, really demanding job, 2 young kids at home. I had no time. I literally had no time. Anyone would look at my schedule and tell me I would be crazy to pick up anything. My schedule was already full, and I had a pretty significant job where the income was supporting our family. So I really wasn't even interested in a side hustle at the time. But like Tracy and Juliet, I was a loyal user of the products. I was getting my own results. I was feeling great. I was referring people to my coach, Tracy. And eventually she's like, why don't you just sell these? Like, why not? Right. And I said, you know what, why not? And it felt really great to start helping other women feel as good as I was feeling. And that's really all it was at the time. And what was nice is that Tracy kept saying to me, like, hey, just want to know, there's options out there. Should you ever want to exercise them? And I never did until I did. And so I'm super happy that I was being asked as often as I was, but it never felt forced, which is why I'm here and why I'm now doing this almost 3 years later. One of the things I'll say, having been a coach, I'm actually the least tenured coach on this call. But as I look back at my coaching journey, there's not a ton that I regret, except for the fact that I didn't start sharing the business opportunities sooner. Like many of you watching this call, you probably feel like, I'm so new at this. Like, how would I even be able to train anybody? Or maybe you're still on your own personal fitness journey. So you're like, how can I look like I look and be a coach, right? You might feel like, you don't want to come across as pushy. Like, we've all felt those things. And what I would ask you to do is just look at your own journey and why you said yes, probably being asked a couple of times. And Juliet's going to talk a little bit more about that in a second. But one of the things that I had to get more comfortable with is, like, if you're paying someone an authentic compliment by just saying that you think they'd be a great coach for whatever reason, maybe it's their engagement in the challenge group, maybe it's just how they show up, how awesome and positive they are, and how you think they would love our community. Like, if you're paying someone an authentic compliment, I've yet to have anybody say like they were offended by my ask. They either respectfully decline and say it's not the right time, and I learn a little bit about why or what their fear might be, Or they're like, actually, maybe that would be interesting. And every time that happens, I'm like, man, why didn't I ask this person sooner? And so we're going to talk a little bit about setting expectations around how often you may need to reach out to somebody, and who you'd even reach out to and what you would say. So Juliette's going to talk a little bit about the frequency of conversations like this.
Yes. And so just because we have been asked, Tracy ate us about 5 times, we weren't getting asked every day. That you don't want to do that, because then that is pushy. Yeah. You want to put them on a list though, and you want to follow up with certain time frames. So whether it's every couple months, every month for some, because some might be like, you don't know, their hesitantness, there's a reason behind it. And as you're following them, because you're one of your challengers, that maybe this is the right time. So you definitely want to make sure you put their name on a list and have that as running, so you can reapproach them, because it's not going to be the right time one day, but the next day it could, and you never know when that's going to be unless you ask.
So some of the common objections that we hear a lot of coaches have, or that we had ourselves, is something that Alicia's going to talk about when she takes herself off mute.
Sorry. Behind the scenes, this is all behind the scenes stuff here.
At this point, we are not stopping the video.
No, this is a good one.
But I hit on a couple of them already, but these were really just fears that I had, like, internally, and I was overcomplicating the invite. I was overcomplicating what I was going to say and how was I going to word it, until I realized I just need to, again, be authentic and just ask. And so what's really cool is that, if you have a really good friend that would benefit from being part of a community like we are, or again, you've got a challenger that is just fantastic and encouraging and active, has had their own results, and is just a great participant in a challenge group, something as simple as, hey, listen, like, I've really been impressed with how you have stepped up in this challenge group. You're clearly a walking billboard for what we do, because you've had such great results yourself. Have you ever thought about becoming a coach? I would love to share a little bit more about what I do as a coach, what it is, what it isn't. If you ever want to talk, let me know. Like, I use voice a lot. I don't worry about like a well-scripted note. I think it comes across as more personal. And even if you have like a little error, right, where you're muted on a recording, or if you stumble over your words, like, there's a human element there that I actually think people appreciate much more than a, like what may look like a cookie cutter, spammed invite, especially to coaching. That's never how I want to start it off. So Tracy's going to talk a little bit about like who you would even invite, especially people that might not be a current challenger of yours.
Exactly. And so Alicia said, challengers are great people to invite. I don't ever let any challenge group go by without asking my challengers if they've ever thought about coaching. And the big thing is that I always give them an out. My favorite thing to say is, hey, this may or may not be right for you, but I just wanted to let you know that you crushed this challenge group. You were awesome. You were motivating. You were engaging with other people. Have you ever thought about coaching? Again, may or may not be the right time, but I think you'd be amazing at it. And so when we give people an out, it makes it more conversational, and they don't feel like, ooh, how am I going to say no to her? It's also a mindset thing. So it doesn't happen immediately for most people, but I think the three of us on this call are definitely, well, we definitely are. We're at the point that it's like, we feel like if we're not sharing this opportunity with them, that we are holding something back that's incredible. Not only because it's awesome to have your health and fitness as a job, right? It is our job to be products of the products. Like, it is my job to be strong and to look that like I'm fit, right? And to eat well, which that all ripples into my family. I'm in a better mood. I'm more patient most of the time, right? I'm just happier. I'm more joy-filled. But also this community of women that we have on our team. Not to say that men can't be included as well, but as of right now, it's a team of women who are just in this awesome place where there is no drama. It's all encouraging. It's true, genuine. You want to see other people do well. And when you hear a little bit about compensation coming up, you're going to hear that all of us, when we all do well, we all get paid, right? It's not, that someone's at the top of the ladder and that's the person that makes money. It doesn't work that way at all. And that really is conducive to the culture that we have. So if I'm not inviting people into something that is as uplifting and positive and inspiring as this community, I'm holding them back. So it is important that you come up with your dream team. And we're going to talk to you a little bit about this down below. And you want to list out, if you were to create a team, if you were to go into business with like the three of us, like these two girls would be on my dream team, right? If you think about that, who do you want to work with every day? Who do you want to do Zoom calls with? Who do you want to laugh with? Who do you want to work out with? Who do you want to sweat with? If you knew that they would not say no, who would you add to your list? And those are the people that you want to keep asking in a time that matches what Juliet spoke about in terms of frequency. That's not gross, right? That's organic and that's truly authentic. And those are people that you want to definitely present the opportunity to. You might be brand new saying to yourself, I don't even know how I would train somebody. You've got this Google Doc, you're watching it, forward it on to someone else, call your best friends from college, call your neighbors, call your new mommy friends, call your old mommy friends, right? Find women who are needing community, women that might be working, that are in a job that they either don't like or the schedule is absolutely drowning them. Maybe it's someone whose spouse travels and they're finding themselves that they're home a little bit more frequently than they'd like to be, alone, and they want to have some sort of a hobby. It doesn't have to be go for 6 figures. It can be something just to help people and make a little bit of income. So don't hold back on who you present the opportunity to, because you just never know whose life this might change. So we're excited for you to get started on building your team, and we're here to encourage you every step of the way.